Maddie's World. My name is Maddie Solomon, and today we will tackle a subject on the mind of every American. Should we go to war? And an even more personal question, should I go to war? Now, the United States has been involved in many wars, and every day we hear reports describing the conflicts we are facing and the many deaths that are occurring. You may be drafted. The purpose of today's show is to discuss whether it is ever right for a nation to go to war. And if so, when? This is the question we will ask our guests today. Then, in the audience participation segment, you may ask questions of our guests' beliefs in war. Each of our guests today is faced with the possibility that he or she may be drafted. Each of our guests has a different opinion about whether it is right for the United States to go to war. Their perspectives will determine whether or not they feel they should serve in the military. Now, let's welcome our first guest, Erin Volpone, an advocate of the nonviolent pacifism theory. Let me start with a question that I will ask each of our guests. Erin, is it ever right for a nation to go to war?
No. Pacifists feel this way because it's a total last resort. You should only go to war if you absolutely need to.
All right, let's see if our next guest agrees with you. Please welcome Courtney Brown, an advocate of the just war theory. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked our pacifist guest. Is the war the right thing to do?
Yes, war is sometimes the right thing to do, mostly when the cause being fought for is just. Self-defense against armed attacks are also morally okay. We should only go to war, though, if negotiating and peaceful resolutions aren't possible to fix the conflict.
Okay, looks like we will have many different views on this show today. Now, we'll hear from our next guest, a political realist. Please welcome Christopher Beal. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We want to hear your views. Do you believe that war is ever the right thing for a nation?
Sometimes it's necessary to defend ourselves and our interests.
I see.
Oh, I'm not finished. You see, our wealth, power, and other such things are our morality, and we must preserve them. America has no permanent friends or permanent enemies, only interest. As Henry Kissinger would have said. Well, actually, he did say it, but yes. We, the American people, as Henry Kissinger, the quote that, I just said, tries to say that we have no friends, and all we want to be is pursue our interests.
Okay, pursue our interests. Those are some very strong arguments. But we have one more guest today, and she is a strong advocate for holy war. Please welcome Charlotte Emery. Welcome. Okay. Welcome, Charlotte. I've asked each of our guests today the same question. Is it ever right for a nation to go to war?
Well, under certain circumstances, yes, it can be right. Like when God vindicates the reason for it. If it was just going to war to get more power, more land, that would be selfish and not even necessary. So when it's for a certain mission, yes, it could be right.
Okay, good. How would you respond to what the other guests have said? Would anyone like to disagree with another guest? Anyone? Yes, Mr. Beal?
Well, Miss Pacifism over there, she was saying that, I should never go to war. Well, that's wrong, and
I highly disagree.
No, I highly disagree with you. Okay, then? All right, then? Will you let me talk? You see, I think it's important to defend our interests. And you know what, she's not going to defend anything, because she's not going to war.
Okay.
I'm not finished.
Well, I'd like to give her a chance to say something to what you've said.
Well, he's got a point. We don't want to go into war all the time, but it doesn't mean that if we don't have to, or take that back, it doesn't mean that if we absolutely had to, we wouldn't. What if you saw one of your best friends getting beaten up, but you didn't have anything to do with it? Wouldn't you go and help them?
If my interest says that, I want to help my friends, then I will go in there. But if my interests say, I don't care about my friends, and by the way, they are not permanent, only my interests are permanent, as Henry Kissinger would have said.
But that's not what I asked you. I asked you if you saw your best friend getting beaten up by a group of people that you had nothing to do with, would you not go and help them? Would that not be the more peaceful thing to do?
Morality will be dropped if it's necessary, if they're threatening my interests.
Would your interest be with your best friend?
How do you know?
Okay. Good discussion. Now, I heard morality mentioned. Miss Brown, do you have anything to say about that?
I agree with the morality because just war is based on your morals. If you don't believe something is right, then you shouldn't do it.
Okay, good. And I'll have to stop you there. Now it's time to take a short break. We'll be right back.
In this world, every day there is violence. Everywhere, every second. Is this the kind of world you want to live in?
You can change this by becoming a pacifist. Pacifism, everyone benefits. There's no war because war is not the answer.
For peace will always bring good results, but war doesn't bring anything but bloodshed and violence.
Spread the love. Give a hug. Skip the diss and blow a kiss.
Together,
We can silence the violence and increase the peace.
become a pacifist today.
Welcome back. Let me turn to our pacifist guest. You say that we should never fight, that war is never the right thing to do. But isn't conflict a normal part of life? Isn't fighting unavoidable?
Fighting isn't avoidable, but sometimes it's best to fight with our words instead of our fists. If you had the opportunity to avoid a physical violence, wouldn't you take that over it?
Yes, I would. Okay, now a question for our holy war advocate. Do you really think that God would want people to fight a war in his name?
Well, sometimes war is necessary to accomplish God's purpose in the world. I mean, we have to make sure that evil people aren't beating his word. Sometimes he even encourages it from some people, like John Brown. He got a vision from God to stop people from being enslaved. In the vision, he was punishing the people that kept the slaves. God wanted him to stop the injustice from happening so that all his people could be equal.
Very good. Now, just war theorist. You say sometimes wars are just, but how do we know if and when it is right to go to war? How do we decide if war is just?
Well, we know when it is right to go to war, when an injustice must be fought against and ended, such as when people are threatened by an aggressive leader. We must do what is right, even in war. A nation decides if the war is only the option left, and it must meet our moral standards.
Okay. Now, our political realist. Aren't you really a person who cares only about power? Are you willing to use power to achieve your interests, even if you have to injure or kill innocent people? Aren't you?
Maddie, I am no savage that wishes to punch a child's face in. No, I am not that. You see, I'm simply a countryman who is out to get what I need. That is the thought of a political realist. It is power. If power is such a thing, if power is such a thing, then yes, I will kill or injure an innocent person to get it if I must. You see, morality must be dropped at times to protect my interest. But my only passion isn't particularly just for power, no. I simply wish to defend my wealth and all of that stuff.
Wow, those are some very interesting responses. Now, does anyone disagree with each other?
Chris, I very much disagree with you. I don't think it is right to kill innocent people, especially when you say the morality would be dropped. First of all, it's just to gain power. You're hurting innocent people to do so and keep your wealth. Like, don't you feel bad about that?
I am merely trying to protect the people of my nation, to protect the wealth, and I don't want my people to be in poverty, unlike you, who would simply, oh, there's a child in that country, I'm not going to fight.
That's not what I mean, though. I mean, if you're in war against a country, what if someone was at war with us and they were in our country, and your children had nothing to do with the conflict at all? Are you saying it's okay for them to be killed?
Well, if they're going out of their way to kill my child, then no, that is not right. But if, let's say, a child were, in the middle of a battlefield and he were to accidentally get shot, well, morality must be dropped.
Well, we hope our children aren't playing in the middle of battlefields, don't we? Okay. Are there some cases in which it is wrong to not go to war?
Absolutely. If they are trying to threaten our wealth and our people, then, wait, what was the question again?
Is it wrong in some cases? Are there some cases in which it is wrong to not go to war?
Absolutely. If you were to say someone was threatening you, and, let's say, Miss Holy War over here, let's say, oh, I'm going to attack you. And so, you say, oh, there's innocence in that country, though. Or, we're friends, though. I don't want to fight back. I don't want to go to war. That's wrong. You are jeopardizing the people of your country for your own personal morality. And that is wrong.
Does anybody think that sometimes it's right to not go to war? Right to not go to war? There's never a case where you must go to war. Never.
It isn't that there's never a case. It's that there should never be a reason for there to be a case.
Okay. Are there some actions during wartime, such as killing innocent children, wrong, even if the war itself might be considered right or just?
Yes, I completely agree with that statement. I believe that if they're innocent people, you're not fighting against the innocent people. Mainly we're fighting against the government and actions that they may have, like I said, an aggressive leader. That's a just reason, and you should fight against that. But the people aren't at fault most of the time, so therefore I feel that they shouldn't be killed.
I 100% agree with Courtney. You're not fighting against the innocent people, you're fighting for them.
That's a very nice thought. Now we're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hey, did you just see that teddy bear catapulted at your face?
I'm gonna kill those rotten kids!
Drop my teddy bear!
Mommy! I don't think I'm dead. Oh.
It's not just war. If it's just a war,